it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. On today's show, The Entrepreneur's Journey, my guest is someone I've had the opportunity to meet many times since 2010 at marketing events across the U.S. A lot of times at these events, you see the same faces over and over, with some people taking action while others don't execute. Barry is someone who has no trouble executing and taking action on things that he learns. One such example is from a Main Street marketing program we both were involved in back in 2010, I believe. Barry hit the ground running, setting up a website for painting services in his local area, started to generate some leads, and then proceeded to lease the site to a painter for $10,000 up front and $1,000 a month. Now, within 6 weeks, that site had generated $250,000 worth of business. Now, Barry Schimmel has a passion for helping business owners, entrepreneurs, professional speakers, authors, and corporate CEOs incorporate cutting-edge technology to build brand awareness and authority to grow their business. Now, he consults and implements solutions for clients that increase engagements, website traffic, and sales conversions by using a proven systematic approach. Now, Barry's been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, speaking on the power of marketing. He's launched a podcast channel on iTunes, Engaging Marketing Solutions, author of the best-selling book, 7 New Marketing Rules and Digital to Dollars, to be released this year. But things have not always been sunshine and rainbows for Barry. In the 5 years leading up to 9/11, Barry had started and grown a video conferencing company from zero to $50 million in revenue, to see the entire business disappear before his eyes when the 9/11 tragedy struck. Business all but halted and clients stopped paying their bills, leaving Barry with almost a $300,000 a month payroll that he just couldn't cover. So he had to make the difficult decision to close the doors for good. But that didn't keep Barry down. Being a true entrepreneur, he got right back up and ventured into a securities company, where he eventually ended up selling that and moving into real estate investment game, and became very successful. That is until the mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008, where once again, Barry ended up losing most of what he built by things out of his control. Not a man to stay down, Barry got back up, dusted himself off, and created Barry 3.0. Now, Barry helps entrepreneurs and businesses who have tried everything and just not achieved the results that they wanted. He does this by offering them a full service of marketing solutions that involves things like marketing strategies, website creation, local search optimization, video marketing, cross-channel marketing, product creation, press releases, books, emails, email marketing, podcasting, social casting, book casting, reputation marketing, ad creation, and strategy. This guy does it all. I consider a true entrepreneur to be someone who you just can't keep down. Regardless of the challenges, the hurdles, the setbacks, they get right back up, learning from their challenges, overcoming adversity, and just moving forward. They refuse to quit and be defeated. It's not in their DNA, and that is Barry Schimmel. So be sure to stick around, because when I come back, we're going to be joined on the entrepreneur's journey with my friend and colleague, Barry Schimmel. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Today is the Entrepreneur's Journey, where we hear from an entrepreneur about their journey into entrepreneurship. The journeys are usually like roller coasters, filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, and even sometimes they get derailed from time to time. That's exactly what we have for today's show. My guest today is a true entrepreneur who has been riding the entrepreneur roller coaster for a long time and been derailed twice. He lost millions with 2 big obstacles that were actually out of his control. So to say his journey is anything but smooth is an understatement. But in true entrepreneur fashion, he got up, dusted himself off, and just got back on and ready to take the next chapter of his entrepreneur journey head on. Now Barry has developed a systematic approach for your web presence that is centered around your website and social media. This type of strategy is much more than hope marketing. It's a system of tools that allow you to leverage online content and create business, rather than what most websites, which act like an online brochure that merely just sits there and looks pretty. With this system, you'll attract interesting clients, gain their trust, and get them to give you their information so that you can solicit your business with an automated system. Now, he helps you take your business to the next level, allowing you to work in your business while he works on your business. So give it up with likes, love, shares, a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for my guest today, Barry Schimmel. Welcome, Barry.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing excellent. Yourself?
Excellent. Thank you for the invitation to your show. I follow you all the time.
Excellent. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs.
If you
Tonight is the night.
If you don't know, Barry's in Chicago, so and if you don't follow baseball, the Cubs are in the World Series.
If you're from Canada, it's just hockey, right?
No, actually, there's a huge contingent that follow baseball as well as the NFL down there. So, yeah, so we know what's going on when it comes to the baseball. Unfortunately, our Blue Jays got beat out, so that's our only Canadian team, and pretty much everybody across the country cheers for them, except some of the older generation that grew up only with like New York and Boston. So especially people from the East Coast of Canada, they cheer for Boston or they cheer for the New York Yankees because, that's all they had when they were growing up, right?
Yes, absolutely. And, I'm excited to talk about being an entrepreneur because really the Cubs have a great story, don't they? From being in the basement to being on top in a couple of years.
That's truly what a lot of entrepreneurs actually go through in their lives. So, Barry, first thing we like to do before we get started, as you know, watching the show is an interview of speed round of questions. Nothing you needed to study for, and there's no test afterwards. So, as always, everyone play along at home. And when I ask the question, just type in your answer in the Facebook chat, and we'll compare your answers at the end. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, love this video, share it on your Facebook feed as well as any groups or business pages that you manage. So we're all set, Barry?
I'm all set. Let's go.
All right. So name the book that impacted your life the most.
Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within.
Excellent book. When you were a young boy, who was your celebrity crush?
My celebrity crush when I was a young boy, of course, it was Farrah Fawcett.
I swear that she gets more votes on this show than anybody else.
She was on the back of my bedroom door, I swear to God.
Yeah. So what book, podcast, or show are you into right now?
I'm into the John McCabe Show, number one.
Thanks for the plug. Are you currently working with any coaches, Barry?
Yes. I work with Frank Kern.
Okay.
Number one in the mastermind.
Yeah.
I work with Mike Koenigs and Ed Rush.
Okay.
So they're my mentors.
And what is your favorite movie of all time?
Rocky.
Oh, nice. That's the original, right? The very first one.
The very first one. I was in the military in 1980, and my nickname was Rocky.
Nice.
It was so awesome.
Excellent. So, Barry, are you currently involved in any masterminds?
Yes, I was saying the Frank Kern, has a mastermind that I'm involved with. I also have my own mastermind that I just started a month ago, which people are already getting to see a few results, which I love. Perfect. That people that take action right away, and all they need is a little inspiration, and they make it happen.
Yeah, inspiration and direction.
Inspiration and direction, and the shortcut, really.
That's right.
Let's get you from where you're at to where you want to be without making all the mistakes that I made.
That's right. So, Barry, name a person, either dead or alive, who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Oh, there's so many people that inspire me, but, Warren Buffett is one of those people, and he's still alive, or Bill Gates or Michael Dell. These are people that, really changed the world. And I wish I could do that. And I try to do it one entrepreneur at a time. Excellent.
What's your favorite type of vacation, Barry, between beach or adventure tour?
That's really tough because, I've swam with sharks, I've skydived, and I'm a pilot. So, I'm an adventure type of person.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're an adventure tour guy.
But I love to be on the beach too.
Yeah. What's the best business advice you ever received?
Invest in yourself.
Very good advice. And the last one's a two-parter. What's your favorite, not what you consume all the time? What's your favorite from water, beer, or wine, pizza, wings, and salad?
Oh, what's my favorite?
Yeah.
I'm more of a wine connoisseur. these days. You know, I really don't drink that much beer anymore.
Okay. And pizza, wings, or salad?
All three.
At the same time, in the same meal. Excellent. So Barry, out of that intro there, is there something I missed? You want to just give a 30-second, 30-second origin story, maybe something I missed out there before we get into really your entrepreneur journey? So leading up to your entrepreneurship, is there something that's relevant or?
Well, there's something that's relevant. I'm part of an organization called Engaging Speakers,
okay,
which, helps, young entrepreneurs that aspire to be an author or speaker, or, just being able to talk about their business.
Right.
And I'm starting to find out that really being able to communicate what you do to others in a colorful way can make all the difference between being broke and being rich.
That's right. I think it's the effectiveness of being able to storytell, really, and get your point across through using stories is really the best way to engage an audience and to capture them. So Barry, let's start out with your very first business. So we're into your entrepreneurship. Can you fill us in on what your business was, how it got started, how you grew it, and sort of what happened?
Yeah, let me give you a little background before it really happened.
Sure.
Is that I was a salesperson that basically sucked. I wasn't making any money. I was poor. I know what it is not to even be able to eat dinner. My friends had to buy me dinner after we went to the health clubs. God bless them. We'd go to Wendy's to get a buffet, and they would pitch, and I knew what it felt like. And a guy came in to pitch Tony Robbins. And I listened to him and I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. And most people say, oh, that's just garbage. This is fluff. It's just hype.
Yeah.
So I invested in it. I took faith. Damn, earpiece. I took faith, a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And enrolled in his program. And I stood in the back of the room at Navy Pier in downtown Chicago. And I looked at all the people. Tony came in, in a big presence. I think he came in by helicopter. It was pretty cool, watching him. I saw these people sitting in the front row enjoying Tony's speech, and I'm in the back. I said, like, someday I'd love to be up in the front row. And it was a big dream, right? So I went through his program, participated as much as I could. I went back and I trained the other salespeople in the office of what I learned. And the following month, I became the best-selling salesperson in the office.
Nice.
And it was all about mindset. Who's getting in your way?
Yeah.
Yourself, nobody else. And, I was going to school to get my MBA. And I thought, well, I don't know why I was getting an MBA. Right? I was just doing it. Somebody told me that I should have an MBA, which, okay, I don't recommend spending a lot of money in school anymore when everything's online and you could listen to people on the John McCabe show and learn from all their experience.
Exactly.
And after a little while, I became a sales manager and then a general manager, got my MBA, and that day I decided I was quitting and just taking a leap of faith. And I moved all the furniture out of my bedroom, and I said, you know what, I'm starting a company. I put a desk in there. I got a partner. We didn't have any money, so we went out and we raised some money just so we could, have a little bit of capital.
Yeah.
And this guy came into my living room in a small townhouse, and we convinced him and his accountant to give us money, and we started with nothing, and we built a $50 million company at the end of the day.
So what was what business were you in?
It was hardware, software, and networking.
Okay.
But it ended up being that we started in video conferencing, and the video conferencing market was really tough because people would pay $5,000 to have a camera and a card for their computer. We'd have to configure it, and you had really bad quality. You couldn't share the screen. You couldn't do anything.
Okay.
So it was a really tough market to be in, but we did pretty well. But then we started realizing that, if we added on the hardware and we added on the software and then we'd install it, and then that grew into providing computers for people.
So how long did it take you to go from 0 to 50 million?
Yeah, it took, we started in 94, and by 99, I think we were there, 5 years.
Okay. And so what happened with the business? I mean, you got a $50 million business. That sounds pretty good to me.
It was outstanding. Actually, I made less money at 50 million than I did at 5 million, to be honest. Because you started to have a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
We had, 250 to 300,000 a month in overhead, and 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And you're going to say, what did 9/11 have to do with a guy in Chicago selling computers?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Nobody knew what to do. People weren't paying their bills. Companies weren't around anymore. It was one thing after another. And it was scary. And I love my employees. They were like just part of my family. And I tried keeping them as long as I could, and that was my downfall.
Yeah.
I kept paying everybody even though money wasn't coming in. And after about 4 months, you could add up to how much money was liquidated out of the company to pay, payroll taxes and insurances and people's payroll. And we finally had to close down the company.
Yeah. So after you made the decision to shut down the business, what were your thoughts? Did you have a plan? I'm sure you're going through a lot of stuff at that point in time in shutting it down, especially when the employees are, you're close to your employees and you have to let them go. But what were your thoughts? Did you have any idea what your future was going to hold?
Well, luckily for me, I started seeding a second company a couple years before that.
Okay.
And I had taken a substantial amount of money to build a IT security firm. We did programming and IT security, and it was kind of the right timing for it. It took a lot of money. It took all the money I was making, to fund the other company. And I was able to keep that company. I bought my partner out and went through that whole process of working in that company. But I really got frustrated because, when you're a CEO, you're listening to employee complaints, you're listening to customer complaints, even if there's only 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah.
You kind of get all the stress, right? It isn't always good. Even though 90%, 95% of the company's going well, I had to deal with all that. And then I had a new family, and I wasn't treating my wife and my kids like I should be treating them because of the stress. I'd come home and, be crabby. And I really didn't think I wanted that. So I sold the company, and I had this great idea. Let's invest it in real estate because you're going to make double your money.
And so Barry, you decided to get into real estate after you sold your company. So when you get into real estate investing, what was your strategy? Were you going to do buy, rent, and hold, buy, fix, sell, multifamily, rent, own, deeds? What was your strategy? How successful were you?
Thanks for asking that question. So my strategy was buy high, sell low. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? I bought lots of different types of properties, shopping centers, a 70,000 square foot warehouse, in condos around the country, in Chicago, Las Vegas, and some other places. And my Las Vegas property was the biggest nightmare I ever seen in my whole life.
What type of property was Vegas? It
was a condo right on Covell, which is like right off the strip there.
Yep.
Covell and Flamingo. And I bought it for the low price of $400,000, and I sold it for the high price of $50,000.
So did you? Because when the real estate crashed, a lot of people basically just ended up going bankrupt or just handing the keys in. And were you able to avoid bankruptcy? Did you have to fund all of the shortfalls yourself through that process?
Well, there's a way to do everything properly. And so what I did is I did a short sale in Vegas, and I funded everything else out of my own savings until I didn't have any more money.
Right.
And I was able to actually not go bankrupt, able to keep my house and all my assets, besides the Las Vegas property. But I'll tell you what, I was starting a new business, which was this marketing business.
Yeah.
And, when you start and you try to reinvent yourself, you don't make money. So I still had the bills of a millionaire and the income of what I wouldn't even say I was poor. I would say I was decimated.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is not let the stress bother you and keep focused.
Yeah. So from the real estate crash, did you actually end up keeping anything after the crash, or you were from your real estate investment portfolio, or was your entire portfolio wiped out?
No, I kept everything except for that one property in base, and there was 24 reasons why I didn't keep that.
Okay, so you still have your shopping centers and the warehouses and things like that?
Yes. Yeah, the person that was collecting the rent decided he was keeping all my rent for a year. And then he split town. I actually went to Vegas to collect the money, got a check from him, and went to his bank right afterwards, and it bounced, and he disappeared. So then the law was after him.
Yeah.
But, being an entrepreneur, you're going to take risks. If you're not taking risks, you're not going to get rewarded.
No.
And I think that's the journey.
Yeah, for a true entrepreneur, they're someone that's going to take immediate action, and if they're faced with challenges, they're going to overcome those challenges, overcome the adversity, and a lot of the stuff that we do is risk taking. I mean, you go into it with a leap of faith, and you put everything you have into it, and you just hope that everything you're doing is right, and you're going to make the right decisions. So you're going to get the big reward at the end. And you don't always get the big reward, but you get rewarded in all the things that you learned through that journey, so that when you embark on your next journey, you take away from that, and you're actually able to implement it into your next venture.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit more about the mortgage crisis. I mean, so it sounds like you weren't affected too much, but you just started a new venture. So,
well, I was affected because it took all my cash. So
it took all your cash to save what you had.
Save what I had, and to pay bills with my credit card. Right.
So now you're back at where you were basically when you started your first company, where you having to get friends. Well, you might not be in the same position where your friends are buying you lunch, but or that you can't afford to go to a Tony Robbins. But take us through the journey of just starting that. We'll call it Barry 3.0 version.
Yeah, that's a funny thing that you said that, because you just reminded me that I went back to the Tony Robbins Master's program.
Okay.
Right when I sold my company, when I started doing the real estate, I was investing back in myself, going through, I think it was called Money Masters back then.
Okay.
And then I was introduced to people like Mike Koenigs and, Russell Brunson.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stars. And I'm like, okay, this is a great way, to get acclimated to the new world, because things have shifted so much, since I started my business till today. Because now people could start with a small amount of money, even though it's a lot of money, but $2,000 to invest in a program is really a small amount when you're a business owner. Because if you can't go make 5 times that $2,000 investment within a couple of months or weeks or days, then you shouldn't be doing it. And, it's tough love is what it is.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that if, I have a couple good stories that will help people, because I invested in a program that I paid $57 for. And I used it to create part of my business, which brought me in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it was a $57 investment. And then I've also made $5,000 and $10,000 investments that I was able to multiply, because I used just a couple of nuggets right away that they teach.
Yeah. And it's really, you actually took the information and took action, immediate action. You executed on some of the stuff, and I think that's the biggest downfall for people who are trying to be entrepreneurs. They're trying to get into the entrepreneur game. We see them all the time, Barry, at a lot of the events that we go to. There's only a handful of people at these events that are really, truly successful, because they're the ones that are out there taking action, executing, even if it's just a piece at a time. They're recovering their investment at least. And then there's those that are really excelling at it. But for the majority of the people, they're so hindered by either fear or over analysis, analysis paralysis, not just getting, not able to get out of their own way, I guess is the best way to put it.
No, you hit it right on the head. A lot of people want to deliver perfection in what I do. And I can tell you lots of stories about really going out on the limb. Back when social media started,
yeah,
I actually put together, before I even knew Facebook or Twitter or any of those programs, I was able to put together 40 people into a room, which I didn't know what I was going to present. And it was a free presentation on social media about, how to do that for your business.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to do it for myself. And so I had a week to determine what to do.
Yeah.
So I bought an online class, and it's kind of funny. It came out just when I had to do this, and it took us through all the social media, how to set it up, how to put a banner, how to post. And when I went to present, it was awesome because I knew more than everybody else.
So you're like a rock star.
It's about knowing, a little bit more than the people that you're teaching.
I was just going to say that you don't have to know it all. You just have to know a little bit more than your audience.
Exactly.
And, that's really what it boils down to. I think we're on Barry 3.0 again. Walk us through getting into that venture. You just mentioned that you stood up in front of a room doing the social media thing. So you're just getting into this whole online marketing thing. And I think this is about the time that you and I started to see each other in the same spaces. So what was your first success, other than the 40 people in the room and teaching them social media marketing, what was your first real big success from, in this venture?
Well, there was a program back then called Monster Follow-Up that we were taking back in the day. And what I did is I own a timeshare in Hawaii. And they had a program, it was called Networking Without a Business Card, where you have people text in, and there were autoresponders that would send back messages to them.
Yeah.
And, here I am, there's an hour to go, and I'm getting to a point where, I need to take action on this new software that I invested in. I was scared. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And, I just got into it, and I said, okay, I'm going to get a phone number, and I'm going to put together some messages, and I'm going to go to this event of a brand new, high-class movie theater that was opening up, and the chamber had about 50 people there.
Okay.
So I went there, and I made this little brochure, and I told everybody that they had a chance to win a trip to Hawaii. And there were 50 people at the event. We got 40 people to text their information in to my new system.
Nice.
Did I know it was going to work? No. Did I have any clue what was going to go? Is it going to explode? Did I set it up right? There was a lot of fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
And, I went there, and I let the program for Hawaii run for a year. But within 6 weeks, I got over $120,000 worth of business of people that wanted me to help them with their trade show and their networking using the
text message
I guess
system?
the text message, but what really I call it from Mario is the magic, right? So it's magic. You text in and you get something back. And so I would always walk up to somebody and say, can I have your phone? I'm going to show you some magic. And now I just captured their cell phone number, and I was able to follow up with them via text, and I could call them, or they had a way where you can leave voice messages, and I could leave voice messages. Hey, it was great meeting you at that event. Let's hook up. And it would go out to all 40 people at once.
Yep.
And then one at a time, they'd be connecting with me to open that conversation.
Excellent. So within a 6-week time frame, you generated $160,000. So from there, where did, or 120,000? From there, where did you move to next? So is this really the initial stages of your marketing business?
Yeah, this was the initial stages. So I was helping people at trade shows. So we'd create a banner. They'd go to a trade show, and I'd actually go there with them and help them get clients, help them with all their marketing, which that was where I really got started.
So you use that as your lead generator to get your foot in the door. And then once your foot was in the door, what types of services or that were you helping them with?
Initially, I have a program called the Brand Establisher, which helps you with visibility.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that because I was helping a lot of clients do different things in different orders. And I started realizing that some people were having success and other people weren't. So I started writing everything out on a board of all the different clients and what I was doing with them and who was successful and trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
So I had this great idea. Let's write down the steps of the most successful things in what order and how it worked. And guess what I came out with?
A plan?
My book, The 7 New Marketing Rules. This was the process that things worked.
Yeah.
It's a little outdated. It's 3 or 4 years. That's why I'm updating it, because there's live casting today in Facebook Live, and there's so many new things. There's ads that you can have. There's webinars. But if you integrate everything properly, you'll see success, and a lot of people throw darts or pay the people that are not proven to have successes do something for them. They'll give them $1,000 to do something or $500 to do something, and all they did is give away a piece of paper, which is called a check, that had numbers on it to somebody else, and they wouldn't get any return on their money. So what I always teach people is anything you do, start building a solid foundation and build upon that foundation. No matter how much money you spend, and try to get a return on it as you go. Clarify your message, be concise, make sure you follow up, and work harder than everybody else, and be ethical and moral, and deliver superior service. And every time you do that service, get better, because I sucked when I started, and people didn't realize, it was terrible. And other people, my clients, would not want to have terrible stuff out there. And I threw terrible stuff out there and made money because nobody else was doing it.
So how has your business evolved or changed from when you first started out to today? How has it affected your customers? How you deliver it to your customers? Or what do you see as the biggest change over the last, say, 6 years?
Well, of course, video, like we're doing today, being able to have your own webcast show and get out to tens, hundreds, or thousands of people, millions, real quickly, live, immediately. Able to do live events, and broadcast it to the world. Create your online products. I mean, everything has really shifted. But I'll tell you what, marketing has even changed in the past year. So if you're doing the same things you were doing last year, you might be struggling. If you're not, God bless you. But I know even myself, I was struggling, and still I realized that there was a shift and I needed to do something to change it. And once I decided to do that, it booked out my schedule completely.
Excellent. So right now, Barry, who do you consider your ideal customer, and what challenges do they have, and how you help them solve them?
So I have a couple different market segments, but authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs. And there's a common method to helping everybody. Visibility, right? Having assets, helping them create those assets. And then, it's how you position them for profitability.
Right.
So I guess your question is more of like, what would you do with somebody? If I was to tell people to do one thing, that doesn't cost you a lot of money, is have a clear message and make sure that it's clear and concise across all of your media.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm a firm believer in, and I preach on this show on a regular basis, as well as to all my private clients, is don't do anything until you're crystal clear on who your ideal target market is, their pains, fears, frustrations, and ambitions, and how your solution is going to help them solve that. And then what is their clear desired outcome, and what benefits are they going to receive from your product or service on their way to that desired outcome? Because until you actually get clear on all of that and the verbiage that surrounds all of that, everything that you're going to put out there is just like throwing mud on the wall. You're just hoping something sticks. But if you understand all of that stuff, you approach it with that mindset, and you create verbiage around your product or service that really connects with your ideal target market and the struggles that they have and their desired outcome. Regardless of what you put out there, you keep that message consistent, and you do it on a persistent basis, regardless of the medium. If you're using it in books, or you're doing podcasts, or you're doing live show, or you're writing blogs, or tweets on Twitter, it doesn't matter, as long as the message is consistent across the board. And I think I think you'll agree that's something that's missing in a lot of businesses.
Absolutely, and that's why I listen to the John McCabe Show. You can always pick up some great tidbits and apply it immediately.
Excellent. So what's your approach when you meet a potential client? Because you do so many things. I mean, you're an A to Z guy. You do it all when it comes to marketing. Is there one product or one service you typically lead with to get your foot in the door? So what's your typical approach when you're just meeting somebody the first time, or you're at a networking event?
Really, giving them a free consultation, and kind of when they leave with the free consultation, they'll have a plan of what they could get started. And I think it's important, if they could come out of a meeting with a clear message, I think they're already ahead of most people.
Yeah.
And then it's, what they do with that message and how hard they work. I believe to have a marketing strategy, if you don't know what your competition's doing, where your competition's at, this really inspiring person, Pam Hendrickson, taught me, there's message, market, and media.
Right.
And I'll ask that question to every single one of my customers, and only one customer ever got that right, and that was like a week ago in a strategy session. It's like, which goes first? And you should probably type this in there: message, market, or media. And if you picked, I'm going to put you in suspense, market, you have to know your market before you can even have a message. And how do you know what type of media to use? Most people start at media or message.
Yeah, they do it backwards. Yeah, they start completely wrong. And like I said, until you have that foundation of understanding who your market is, your ideal target market, your avatar, I don't care what you want to call them, Bill, Bob, Sally, Joe, until you really understand who they are and the challenges that they face and the struggles that they have, and pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions, and what their desired outcome is, and how your product or service can help them achieve that desired outcome. Until you can answer all of that as a business owner, everything that you invest money in is really just a waste of time, in my personal opinion. I mean,
I agree with you.
It's the mud on the wall strategy.
And yes, you're 100% right. I tell people, what, if you only have $500 to invest, how about take your family out to dinner and enjoy it? Because there's free things. Free things really won't get you to where you want to go. So either save your money or take your family out, enjoy it, because life's too short. Don't give it to anybody that wants to take your money to sell you their services, because in our industry, there's a lot of people that are really good salespeople that can't deliver for themselves. And I'll share this story with you, and it's kind of funny. So this guy pulls up to my house, 7 o'clock at night, because he had a client all day. He goes, Barry, going to O'Hare Airport, dropping off my client. Do you mind if I stop over there afterwards at 6 o'clock? And he was running late, of course. It's 7 o'clock at night, and he pulls up to my house, and he goes, everybody told me you lived in a double wide trailer. And so, I was laughing, and so, we're talking later, and he goes, I didn't really know where he came up with that line, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And so we're talking, and he's like, yeah, I've invested a lot of money with a lot of the wrong people. And I didn't realize that they lived in a double wide trailer while they're taking my money and using it for beer,
Nice.
And it's not talking about somebody that lives in a double wide trailer, but it's talking about that somebody that is not doing it for themselves, how could they do it for you, was the whole point.
True. True. And so what would you consider your number one go-to strategy with your clients? Once they have the message right, what is the number one strategy, go-to strategy to help them accelerate their authority?
Well, I think what's really important, I mean, besides positioning yourself with a book or, things that give you that expert status, which will really help you get higher prices in your business, let's make it really easy for people. Value yourself higher than you think you're worth. So if you're selling your services for $50 an hour, try doing it for $200 an hour.
Add a zero. Isn't that what Ed says? Add a zero.
Yeah, add a zero. You know what? I actually did that to a project before after I heard it from Ed.
Yeah.
And it did work. And that's where I used to sell my marketing strategy for $1,000. And now I sell my marketing strategy for $10,000. And that's not a lie, but I also have made it 10 times or 100 times better than it was when I started out.
Right.
So, you want to over deliver and under promise. So don't try to rip somebody off just to make a buck. Whatever you want to roll out, test it out on people. You call it your beta test or your guinea pigs. And don't charge them as much as you're going to charge everybody else. But once you get all that knowledge and you can make your product better, then add a zero to it. Right. Or double it or triple it, whatever you feel comfortable with. Most people that I find is they undervalue their own net worth because we don't believe in ourselves, as much as we should.
And so Barry, lately I've watched, I follow you on Facebook. So lately I've watched you streaming some Facebook Live from various events. Now, you had mentioned some of those are your own sponsored events and some of those are just at other people's events. So can you what is the strategy you have when you're just doing, a couple minute, maybe 5 minute stream? What is your thought process or what's the strategy behind just streaming from an event for a few minutes?
Well, really, if you look at it, I'm a marketing guy. And what I want to do is I want to give other people, their 10 seconds of fame.
Right.
And get them out to the world to say, this isn't that hard. You press a button, you go live, you say hello, you introduce yourself, and you add some value. So what I do is I walk around and I let other people talk and introduce themselves to my Facebook, tell them about their business. Yeah. The interesting thing that comes is, Tony Robbins and everybody else will say it. The more you give, the more you get.
Yeah.
And you're not looking to get, because if you're looking to get, people are going to see right through that. But if you're looking to give, so, as I was doing this, the first time ever was at an Engaging Speakers boot camp they were putting on. Yeah. That, I'm part of the organization. I do their marketing. So I go on Facebook Live, I press the button, and I have, on my phone, I have the case.
Yeah.
So I have my selfie stick, I stick it in, and it falls. Oh, I think John McCabe was the one that was ripping on me, matter of fact.
Oh, no. Because your palm was over. Ed did the same thing on one of his Facebook Live. He palmed the phone, so all you saw was his palm. It's like, that must be a new marketing technique. Just put your palm over the camera.
Well, you know what? Here it is. You're right. It's a marketing technique. And the marketing technique is that you don't have to be perfect.
That's right.
Because now there was this guy in Las Vegas, Ippolito, and he sends me a text, hey, Barry, we're putting together a speaking event. Are you available? And actually this weekend I'm going out there to meet him to talk about that. Now isn't that pretty cool? That here's a guy who drops his phone, puts his finger in the lens, and still gets people liking it and loving it.
Gets invited to potentially speak at an event.
Not only potentially speak, is now they want me to help them put on the event.
Excellent.
So it turned out from being just a blooper to it could be something amazing. And, we're getting a lot of people in our community involved in it.
Yeah.
But this is what I tell people all the time. If you wait till you're perfect, you're going to wait forever. You'll be in your grave because, perfection will come from mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, you can make something good, and then you're going to realize what it's going to take to be great. And then, you know, what I always tell people, and I love this the most, if you don't have any haters, you're not doing something right. The more haters you have, the better you're going to be doing.
And Nobby just messages and says, action beats perfection any day. So definitely true.
Thank you, Nobby.
So, so are you thinking about incorporating Facebook Live into your product, into your current service offerings, or do you do it now?
I'm actually beta testing some other software that incorporates bringing, you know, hundreds of thousands of people on it at a time, and you probably know what I'm talking about. And you could stream it live or keep it private, and that way you can do mastermind groups with people from around the country, which is my next step. Is getting some like-minded, great people together, you know, to produce something bigger than we can do ourselves.
Okay.
But then also we could share some of that with a live audience.
So still with that platform, still using the Facebook Live?
You're right. It incorporates Facebook Live right into the platform.
Okay. So, but you have the choice of whether you want it live to everybody, or just or if it's going to be private.
Right.
Like you're going to do a mastermind or whatever.
Exactly.
So when do you anticipate that to be delivered, or to have a conclusion as to your beta test?
You know, that's a loaded question, because, you know, I'm going to be traveling to Las Vegas, and then I have 2 trips to San Diego to a couple other events. So, you know, and I have a lot of customers right now that, you know, I'm helping.
Right.
So, and the Cubs are in the World Series.
The city
so
stops.
There's a lot of late nights.
The city's going to stop until the series is done. Exactly. Or it's going to slow down immensely, because nobody's going to do any work. All they're going to do is talk about the Cubs.
No, I'm debating whether, after I get off of this interview, to go downtown Chicago and, you know, do a Facebook Live at Wrigley. Oh,
that would be awesome. I was in Chicago several times, but we went there once specifically to attend a weekend Cubs series. And that was, they actually clinched, the weekend we were there, they clinched for a pennant. That would have been probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. And we also got to go to a Bears game that same weekend. So used to do some sports trips with my brother and a couple other buddies. We used to go travel around North America and do sporting events. So definitely loved Wrigley Stadium. It's awesome being there.
Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field. Yeah. Sorry. Wrigley Field. And I love how the bleachers on the neighboring houses, or yeah, I guess they're houses.
The bleachers on top of the houses.
Brownstones or whatever they're called over there. Yeah, definitely. It's a great environment around the field when we were there. But,
yeah.
Well, it looks like that's all the show we have for today, Barry. I want to thank you very much for agreeing to be on the show. It's a pleasure sharing your journey with us. Definitely we'll get some contact links posted up in the comments field for you if anyone wants to reach out to Barry. And when we upload this video to the website, we'll put in the show notes for all of the information on the website as well. And if you have any other questions, just type them in chat, and either Barry or myself will get back to you. If this show has already been aired and you're watching it after the fact, just tag one of us in the posts and we'll definitely follow up with you. But be sure to hit that like button, love button, and share this with all your friends on Facebook. And again, Barry, it was a pleasure having you on the show, and I look forward to catching up with you real soon. And we'll definitely see you in San Diego, December 6th to the 8th.
Yep, and thank you, and to everybody out there, to your outrageous success.
All right, thanks, Barry. Take care.
You too.
Well, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers, get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step one to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now, just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now, it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint coaching program or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now, again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.